So mounting a TV is an easy project that just about anyone with a power drill and a few basic hand tools can handle. You basically buy a TV wall mount bracket, mount part of it to the TV, mount the other part of it to the wall, and then hang the TV on the wall. It's that easy. But of course, if this is your first time tackling this project, you'll probably want a little bit more information than that. So here's what I'm gonna cover in this video. A list of tools you'll need for the job, how to wall mount your TV step by step, and finally, a common mistake you're gonna want to avoid. Let's go ahead and get started. For this project, you'll need the following tools: a drill, a 3/16 or 7/32 wood or metal drill bit, a socket wrench, a socket set, a Phillips head screwdriver, a stud finder, a measuring tape, a level, and a pencil. And if you want this project to go just a little bit faster, you can also get a socket adapter and an impact driver. For a complete list of tools and links to buy, visit diywithdan.com/mountmytv. As you can see, I've already unboxed the TV and the TV wall mount here, and I'm just using this very basic TV wall mount I got from Amazon for 18 bucks. Nothing special. So TV wall mounts are going to come with several common components. They're going to come with these parts, these little brackets that mount directly to the TV. Then they're going to have the part that mounts to the actual wall, and it's going to come with several screws, most of which you won't need. So the first step that you're going to want to take is to attach these brackets directly to the TV. And you're going to want to find the screws that came with your TV wall mount that work with that to mount to your specific TV, because every TV has different size screw holes, and you might need to use some washers to space it out, whatever you need to do. Okay, so I've already done that, and I have my screws right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach these screws to the TV. And then make sure they're nice and tight by tightening them with a screwdriver. And by the way, if you're using a different kind of wall mount, like an articulating wall mount, this process is exactly the same. Your mount is just going to look different. Now that we have these TV brackets securely mounted to the TV, they're nice and secure, you've tightened down the screws well so it's not going to fall off. You're going to take the part that mounts to the wall and you're going to attach it to the TV. So you're going to move it on like that. You don't need to permanently attach it, you just need to get a dimension from it. So what I want to do now is I want to measure from the floor to the top screw hole here on the TV wall mount. So that's going to give me the dimension to use to figure out the positioning of the TV. So what I'll do is I'll just tilt the TV forward so it's straight up and down so I get an accurate measurement here. Bias this upward, and I'm getting a measurement of about 17 1/8 of an inch. So I'll go ahead and write that down somewhere, 17 1/8 inches. And once you have that measurement, you can go ahead and take this part off. You can move the TV out of the way and get ready to mount it to the wall. And now it's time to mount the bracket to the wall so we can attach the TV to it. And the most important part here, that is the most common place where people make mistakes when mounting a TV, is finding the right location of where to mount this on the wall so the TV is both level and it's positioned in the right spot so it's actually comfortable to watch TV. The first thing you want to do is find where you want the TV to sit side to side. Now for me, I want it to be centered over this feature right here, this little cabinet thing. So what I'll do is I'll measure this cabinet, which is 64 inches wide. I'll divide that by 2, so that's 32 inches. So the center of that is going to be 32 inches, which is right about here. And I'll just make a small mark on the wall right there, so I know where the center of where I want the TV to sit is. And that doesn't need to be exact because I'll have a little bit of room to play later. Now the next step is to figure out how high I want the TV. So what I'll typically do to find the height of the TV is if I go into a customer's house, I'll measure the height of the TV. Okay, just the direct height of the TV. This TV that I'm working with is 28 inches tall. So then I'll hold my tape measure up here and I'll bend it at the 28-inch mark to represent the height of the TV. And I'll hold this and I'll tell them to sit wherever they're going to be watching the TV and say, how high, what looks good. Like, you know, you don't want it to be too high. That's a common mistake, is people mount the TV too high and then they're kinking their neck looking up at it. Typically, you want it to be at about eye level or just below eye level. Now, if you're going to be in a recliner, if you're going to be watching TV from bed, then you're probably going to want to mount your TV a lot higher so you have a good viewing angle. It really depends on the situation. Right there, so then I'll just make a mark where I want the bottom of the TV to sit. So now I know the center line and I know where I want the bottom of the TV to be. Now I can take that dimension that we got from the TV earlier when we had the mount on the back of it and measure from that where I want the bottom of it to be, measure up to 17 1/8 of an inch. This doesn't have to be exact, but I want to be as close as possible. Take a level, put the bottom of it on that set where I have the center line that I drew earlier, and then I can just draw a line there. Now that I have those, I'm going to take a stud finder and I'm going to find the studs so I know where to drill in my lag screws. The first thing I'll do is tap the wall. It sounds a little more hollow there, a little more solid there. There's probably a stud right there. So I'll take my stud finder, locate the studs. So we've got one right there. So we've got a stud right here. And usually about 16 inches over, you're going to find another one. Okay, so we've got a stud here, and a stud here. Now in this case, it's kind of awkward because the center line of my TV is pretty close to the center of a stud. Ideally, the center line of where you're going to put the TV is going to be directly located in between two studs. That's not the case for me. So what I'm really trying to do is I want to hit two studs. I want to get this stud here and this stud over here. And by centering this half section of the bracket over the center line of the TV, I'll still have a little bit of room to play to mount the TV because, again, the TV brackets are only 8 inches apart, so I have plenty of room there. Okay, so I'm going to use this stud and this stud. So now I'll take my level again and I'll place it. I'll line it up with this line, this horizontal line I drew here, get it perfectly level, and I really want it to be perfectly level. And take your time here to make it just right. I'll draw a line across that stud, a line across that stud, and finally, now I have my stud location, I know exactly where I'm going to screw. So the center of the stud is about right there, so I'll just make some marks. And then I'm also going to make a mark so I know where to put the bottom screws. Really, you could just eyeball it, but if you want to be certain, that's a good way to do it. So now I can take this bracket. You want to make sure that you line up with the screw holes in the bracket so you can actually screw in where you measured. So that's where I want that to sit. So that's going to work. Good to go. Grab my drill here to pre-drill for the lag screws. I'll be using a screw. So these are the screws that I'm going to be attaching this bracket to the wall with. And this drill bit is slightly smaller than the screw, so the threads are still going to have plenty of wood to grip into. Now, before I go drilling into this wall, it's always a good idea to make sure that there's nothing on the other side of the wall, that there's no electrical wires in there or anything. So the best thing to do, the easiest way to do it, is go look on the other side of the wall and see if there's anything over there. In most cases, you're going to be just fine. If there is an electric wire, it's probably going to be covered by a metal plate to keep you from drilling into it. So I'll very carefully get exactly in the center here. And what I like to do is use this little socket adapter. I got a little 1/2-inch socket bit here, so I can just use my drill to save some time. I'll put that right there. Start it with my finger. Grab my drill and start the screw there. Now, if I didn't have that little adapter I'm talking about, I could just take a socket wrench, attach the socket, and just crank it by hand, just like that. You know, if you don't have a drill or whatever, that works as well. Again, this is just to save time. Ideally, you'd have an impact driver to do this, but I don't have my impact driver here, so I'm just going to use this. Now, before I tighten these all the way down, I'm going to leave them just a little bit loose here. I want to make sure that this is perfectly level. So I'll put my level on top of it and check to see it. And I can see that this side just needs to go a little bit higher. And there's usually a little bit of play with the screws like that. So what I'll do is I'll lift this side up and then just hand tighten it right there. There, now it's perfectly level, and I can tighten these two screws down. That's also why I wait to do these bottom screws, because I want to make sure I can make it perfectly level. But now that I have those in, we're almost done. Now you can see we have this nice solid bracket. It's not going anywhere. You could probably hang on it if you'd like to. It's perfectly level. It's good to go. The next step is to grab your power cord or any cables you want to connect to the TV. Connect those to the TV, because it's a little more difficult once the TV is already hanging to do this. Then pick up the TV if you need to. Get two people to do this, and just hang it right onto the mount. And to remove the TV, you just simply lift out on the bottom and pull up. Now once the TV's on the mount, you usually have a little bit of room to slide it back and forth, because there's a little bit of play on that TV wall mount. Now if you'd like, you can get back there, up there, and tighten the screws to lock it in so somebody can't just come steal it off the wall, or kids can't knock it off. In this situation, I'm just going to leave it hanging like that, make sure it's perfectly level, and I'm good to go. All right, now let's talk about a couple of tips for mounting your TV so you don't mess it up. Okay, one potential area where you can mess up your TV when mounting it is if you screw the screws that mount these brackets to the TV. If you use a screw that's too long, it can go all the way into the TV and mess up the internal components of the TV. Most of the time, they'll have a stopper in there to keep you from doing that, but in some cases, it's something you need to pay attention to. So what I'll do in that case is I'll grab a long, skinny item like this. You could use a toothpick even. And then what I'll do is I'll stick it in the hole, and then I'll hold my finger however far it goes in so I know how deep I have before I run into something. And then I'll hold that up to whatever screw I'm using and make sure that the screw that I'm attaching these brackets with isn't going to go too far into the TV. Because it'd be a real bummer to break your TV while you're trying to mount it. Now let's say you're mounting to stone or brick or something like that. In that case, you're not going to be able to drill in like you did with these wood studs. It's not going to be quite as easy. So what you're going to need is you're going to need the appropriate size mason drill bit, which allows you to drill into rock or stone. And then you're going to use these little anchors here. These are not drywall anchors, okay? These are not an option to mount into the drywall. They're strictly there to mount into stone or brick or some other hard surface like that. So you drill the hole, you tap these in with a hammer, and then you screw the lag screws into these, and that locks it into the brick. Okay, that's easy. Now if you're mounting to metal studs, okay, metal studs are going to be hollow studs if you're mounting in an office building or something like that. I also have another video on that I've linked to in the video description if you want to know how to mount to metal studs. You're just going to use something called a strap toggle. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate that. If you like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. And If you'd like to learn how you can make money and build a business doing things like wall mounting TVs, I've actually made tens of thousands of dollars wall mounting TVs. You can learn how to do that at handymanstartup.com, where you can learn step by step how to start your business, how to price your services, how to market your services and get your first customers, all that good stuff. Tons of free advice there. handymanstartup.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.